I'm now joined by visiting fellow at the United States Studies Centre and Sky News contributor Bruce Wolpe. Bruce, great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Look, let's begin with impeachment. There's a lot going on here, but Senate Majority Mitch McConnell and Minority Leader Chuck Schumer are now at an impasse on the rules of this trial. Take us through it.
They are, and Nancy Pelosi is also gaming the system a little bit, trying to get a little advantage. There's a question of what happens now if the House has passed impeachment. How soon will the Senate take up a trial? Democrats feel strongly that the president and certainly the leaders in the Senate don't want to have a forensic trial with a lot of witnesses and so forth, that they believe that they're ready to acquit the president, then let's just move on with it and end it. And the Democrats feel they've done all this work on impeachment. They think the issues are very serious. They want a full airing in the Senate. So there's this political impasse. I do think it'll be resolved early in January when the Senate reconvenes. The members will come back. I think what the House Democrats are trying to do is put pressure on them for the American people to see, look, there's some serious issues here that deserve ventilation. So let's have a process that at least is respectable. But the Republicans say the whole thing from Trump on down, it's a hoax, it's a witch hunt, it's terrible, it's discredited, it's unconstitutional. And so really, do we really want to do something like this? It will be worked out, but it's been contentious so far.
I want to look at a particular photo, a bit of a split-screen photo, which I believe that we might have. It's half the picture shows the vote count itself, the vote in the House. The other side, Donald Trump addressing a rally, by the looks of it, making a speech. Interesting contrast here. Can you explain what's going on?
This sort of captures the political mood of the year. If there's one photo for the year, this is kind of it. Let's go back a year. The Democrats come back and take the House of Representatives, and Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House. And what is her agenda? And ultimately, she wanted to keep Trump accountable. We've been talking for months about the Democrats controlling committees. They have oversight, investigations, and so forth. You have the Mueller report. And so you reach a point, finally, with this Trump-Ukraine affair, and you have this explosion of interest, and you get to an impeachment of the president. And on that image, you have her on one side of the screen bringing down the gavel on the vote to impeach the president. At the same moment, he is in Michigan talking to his base about what he's done, his future, what's at stake for America. And in impeachment, there's a before and there's an after. And before impeachment, you have a president fighting and so forth. After impeachment, it is an indelible mark on the history of this president, which he cannot stand. I mean, and he rages against it. Most presidents rage against these things privately. President Clinton, under impeachment, was traveling in Africa, and he would bang on bongos long into the night in his hotel. I'm serious, in his hotel room. President Trump, he's angry, and he writes a 6-page letter saying, I'm trashing this whole thing. So you had that photo of her bringing down the gavel on impeachment, him in front of his base in Michigan talking for 2 hours about himself and his presidency. And that has been the yin and yang of this year in politics.
I think that sums it up very well, the yin and yang of the year. Bruce, also the State of the Union will be on the February the 4th. Now, this is potentially during a Senate impeachment trial, the timing of this.
If they fix, and because there's been a little bit of delay getting the Senate trial underway, the trial may stretch into February. So February 4th, it would be the night of the State of the Union. The president has accepted the Speaker's invitation. And again, going back a year ago, the government was shut down. Trump wanted to address the State of the Union, and the Speaker reminded him, I control who can talk to the House of Representatives, and so we're going to put off the State of the Union, Mr. President, until you solve the government shutdown. That was solved. He did give the State of the Union. She's invited him for February 4th. He has accepted he will be there. On February 3rd is the Iowa caucuses with all the Democratic presidential candidates, and this trial might occur. So you could have a night where you have you see some emerging Democratic leaders coming out of Iowa. You have the president on trial during the day in the Senate, and that night he addresses the nation from the rostrum of the House of Representatives, and the Speaker is right behind him looking at this. And that is American politics. That'll be another image that we'll talk about.
Absolutely. Well, no doubt an interesting year ahead.
Yes.
Bruce, I want to talk about the situation between the US and North Korea.
Yes.
Is Trump heading towards a Christmas crisis with North Korea? There's, I guess, nothing's been resolved when it comes to denuclearization. The talks have broken down.
Yes.
What's next?
Kim Jong-un in North Korea has signaled for some time that he wanted relief from the U.S. sanctions, and he wanted a better process with the United States to discuss all the issues, and if not, that there would be a Christmas surprise. The New York Times has been reporting this morning that American intelligence and security officials are on an hour-by-hour watch for a missile test, intercontinental missile test by North Korea. That would cross a red line that President Trump has set. He's tolerated short-range missile tests by North Korea over the past months. Nothing has been done on North Korea's nuclear arsenal. It has between 30 and 40, enough material for 30 and 40 weapons. And so the issue could be posed in the next few days if there is an ICBM test launch that would show that Kim could deliver a nuclear missile against the United States territory, as to whether the diplomacy has failed. And you've had 3 summits between Trump and Kim. The last one did not go well. And whether we're back to Rocket Man confrontation and what to do with North Korea, or is there some road out of here that would let the 2 leaders talk? So you could have a very disruptive series of events coming up very shortly in Asia.
Has the US at all responded to this potential threat?
They've started, the top U.S. diplomat has been touring the region, Stephen Begun. He was just confirmed as Deputy Secretary of State. And there's also a summit in South Korea between President Xi and the leader of South Korea and the leader of Japan later this week. That could provide some openings. There's also been discussions with the Russians and the Chinese. So there's been some conversations, but again, Chairman Kim and North Korea wants relief from relentless U.S. sanctions, but the U.S. wants some progress on nuclear weapons. Right now, that is at an impasse. So these could be some tense days ahead.
Difficult days to end the year, but
yes.
a very interesting 2020 ahead, you'd say, for President Trump.
Well, you have an impeachment trial in the Senate, you have the presidential campaign unfolding, and then you have these unresolved international issues at the same time. It's going to be a momentous year. And this time next year, will we be talking about the re-elected President Trump and what his second-term agenda looks like? Or will we have a new president coming into office in January 2021? And who will control Congress? Will Democrats, a lot of people are saying, Democrats, you've made a terrible mistake politically in impeaching President Trump. Well, will Democrats still hold the House of Representatives? And will the Senate turn or stay Republican? So all of this is up in the air, so there will be plenty of things for us to talk about.
Plenty for you to analyse in the coming year. Bruce Wolpe, pleasure to speak with you.
And a happy Christmas and a happy New Year
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you.